while the alien princess laughed at Earth's gods. She faced answers beyond her world. She was born to rule reason. To her, gods were lies. But when a human whispered a prayer into the void whispered back. And the alien princess learned that faith was not weakness, but truth too vast to measure. The Sci-Fi Empire had charted more than 600 inhabited worlds, mapped the chemistry of life, and proven, mathematically, that no divine being could exist without leaving measurable residue in spacetime. To them, the universe was flawless in its logic. And Princess Viral Shah, daughter of the Empress, was the brightest symbol of that logic. She had debated scholars since childhood, lectured before the Galactic Assembly by age 20, and famously mocked humanity's religions on a broadcast that reached 1 billion viewers. They pray, she said, to invisible beings who never reply. Primitive comfort, nothing more. The galaxy had applauded her wit. Humanity had quietly bristled. When the Sci-Fi flagship Crown of Dawn descended through the blue skies of Earth, Viral felt an odd warmth beneath the clouds. She stood at the viewing deck, golden light painting her pale skin. Unfiltered photons, her aide murmured. Primitive planet, but rich in oxygen. Careful with exposure, princess. She smiled. Their air smells alive. Humans had built a reception site in Geneva, a blend of stone architecture and shimmering energy shields. They greeted her with open ceremony, generals, scientists, and one man who didn't seem to fit. He wore no uniform, no insignia. Only a small cross on a chain around his neck. He introduced himself as Captain Jonathan Reyes, Earth Defense. A soldier, linguist, and, according to his record, a believer. Your Majesty, he said with a nod. Welcome to our small, old world. You fight well for a species so superstitious, Viral replied dryly. He smiled. And you speak kindly for someone who thinks we're foolish. Her eyes narrowed. Faith is a failure of intellect. Or proof, he said softly, that intellect alone can't fill every silence. Their exchange was recorded across a dozen channels, broadcast live. To the Sci-Fi, it was theater. To the humans, it was something else, a duel between reason and reverence. 3 days later, the princess joined Captain Reyes on a humanitarian escort through the ruins of orbiting colonies damaged by solar flares. It was intended as a gesture of cooperation. But the storm they entered was no ordinary flare. A magnetic anomaly appeared near the moon's shadow, a silent ripple that froze their ship's instruments and dragged them toward a gravity well that did not exist on any map. Quantum distortion, shouted her navigator. It's alive. The ship spun. Metal screamed. Shields collapsed. Through the viewport, Viral saw something vast and luminous, shapes of wings, rings of light. She thought it was radiation feedback, until she heard singing. Not through the air. Through her mind. The ship's hull ruptured. Half the crew was thrown into the void. Reyes was pinned under a broken beam, blood pooling beneath him. Systems, gone, said the pilot weakly. We're dead. Viral, clutching the console, barked commands. No one dies here. Not while I breathe. Reyes coughed, eyes unfocused. Princess, sometimes, breathing isn't enough. Then, he whispered, not to her, not to anyone. But to the space above him. If you're listening, if you still walk with us, help them, not me. It was nonsense. A plea into a vacuum. And yet, every screen flickered to life. Energy readings surged. Hull fractures sealed with molten light. The void outside twisted, reshaped, and something vast, something aware, looked through the metal. A figure of radiant geometry, part flame, part memory, descended through the storm. Every Sci-Fi screamed in terror. Their neural implants are overloaded. Only Viral remained standing, shaking, eyes wide. The light formed the outline of a being with wings made of particles older than stars. It did not speak in words. It resonated directly within their bones. You call me myth, it said within their minds. Yet I made the dust you breathe. Viral fell to her knees. She saw Earth from orbit, oceans shimmering like tears, then images from millennia ago, humans kneeling in temples, lifting hands to the sky, whispering the same names that now echoed in her ears. Impossible, she gasped. This is a psychic hallucination. Then why do you tremble, child of Seraph? Reyes exhaled one final breath, eyes shining in the light. He was smiling. When the storm subsided, the crown of dawn drifted gently toward the earth. Every system is functional, every survivor alive. Reyes's body was untouched, peaceful, weightless, still wearing that faint, contented smile. Viral ordered silence. No record of what happened was to leave her command deck. But data is persistent. Sensors had recorded everything, every fluctuation, every anomaly, every voice. She spent the next 3 nights alone in her quarters, reviewing the footage frame by frame. Each time the light appeared, her mind felt heavy with something she couldn't name. Not fear. Not logic. Something else. Faith. Weeks later, the Galactic Council convened to investigate the incident. Representatives from 17 species dismissed it as a gravitational echo, a magnetic hallucination, or a trick of human technology. Then the human ambassador requested permission to play the final transmission. Reyes's voice echoed through the chamber. If you're listening, help them, not me. Followed by that same impossible chorus of light. Every creature present fell silent. Viral rose from her seat. Her voice trembled as she spoke. We claim to have mapped the universe. But perhaps the universe was not made for us to map. Perhaps we were made to witness. The council erupted in whispers. The Empress herself demanded evidence, replicable proof. But there was none. Months passed. The Serati fleet resumed its duties. Viral was offered honors for her composure during crisis. She declined them all. Instead, she returned, alone, to Earth. She visited the small stone chapel where Captain Reyes had once prayed. Inside, the air was still, filled with flickering candlelight. She knelt, not out of habit, but out of need. You may not be ours, she whispered to the silence. But you were his. And you answered. Outside, thunder rolled softly across the sky. The sound made her smile, just a little. Centuries later, long after the Serati had joined humanity in the exploration of deeper space, a monument stood on Luna Base. A crystalline statue of a human soldier and an alien princess, side by side, gazing at the stars. The inscription beneath read: For those who learned that faith and science speak the same truth. One through reason, one through light. And if one stood there at the right moment, during the lunar dawn, a flare of solar wind would cast a halo of gold around the statue. And for a heartbeat, both seemed alive. They once laughed at Earth's gods. They thought faith was a relic of ignorance. But when the universe answered a dying man's prayer, the galaxy fell silent. And the princess who mocked belief became its first witness.